Good morning and welcome to the PP&B Morning Show. Today, the judiciary over the years prides itself as a noble institution that upholds justice for the common man. This week can relate to it to the former Vice President Alhaji Abubakar Atiku's statement, who made a very bold statement that institutions of the judiciary in the time past upheld judgment for him even without seeing any of the justices. And he goes along to ask questions. Can this happen in our very judicial system today? These are the issues we are going to be looking at today in a morning show. My name is Kenneth Chidi. As usual, I'm not alone. I'm with my colleague, Mr. Shaibu Ibrahim. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. CK. Good morning, viewers.
You're welcome, sir. All right, before we proceed, we shall be going straight into the newspaper review after this timeout. Please stay tuned. All right, Mr. Shaibu, we have so many issues today.
Yes.
And we're going to look at the newspaper today and see what we have. Looking at the fact that politics is everywhere in the air this time around.
Exactly.
Ranging from INEC to the judicial system, even to the political parties
Themselves, yes.
So we're going to see what we have today. Let's look at the first
paper
today this morning. The Daily Sun.
The Daily Sun has a central message as ADC, INEC plotting to stop us from fielding candidates in 2027. Gives Commission 72 hours ultimatum, and a rider saying Youth Wing, CSO, threatened to occupy INEC offices.
Oh, okay.
This is the ADC saying that INEC is trying to stop us from fielding candidates towards the 2027 presidential.
Do you think that is true?
Yeah, well, it is a political party. In fact, it's one of the major opposition parties in Nigeria. So they must have seen something for them to be able to come out boldly and make such a bold statement on a national daily. And I think even without them saying, there are indications that the playing field is not yet level. There are certain perception from the people that there are certain influences that is taking place within some agencies that has to do with the election.
But why would INEC want to stop ADC from fielding a candidate? Why would INEC want to do that? Don't you think this is just one of those conspiracy theories we can see?
Nigerians can find more about this when they get the Daily Sun and then go through the...
Okay, when they go and read details. Because one will be wondering why will INEC want to do that.
So people interested in knowing that, let them find the content of the...
Okay, if you want to know why ADC is shouting foul and crying foul everywhere, that INEC wants to stop them from fielding a candidate, you can go to the Daily Sun. The other headlines, okay, the
other headline says, investigate weakest threat against Channel TV presenter. NGE Serap Arch Tinubu. Investigate weakest threat against Channel TV presenter. NGE Serap Arch Tinubu. I think that has to do with the alleged threat that Tinubu Wike has said to one of the Channel TV presenter, something that has to do with shooting him or something like that. Yes, and then it's true, because if public officers, in fact, senior government officials to the rank of a minister can make such a statement in an open national television.
But some people has come to say that he has retracted his statement.
Even if he has, why will he make such a statement in the first place? National minister, a federal minister, a cabinet minister, telling somebody on national TV that I'm going to shoot you. That's very, very mature. He shouldn't have made that statement, because for you to reach that climax, that power level, you must have been matured enough to know what you're doing. This is a threat.
So you mean that statement is not just a threat to democracy?
Of course, it's a threat to democracy and even a threat to freedom of press. It's a threat to press freedom. Whatever question a journalist can ask you, it is within his purview to ask you such a question.
Yes, as enshrined in the Constitution.
Exactly, to enlighten citizenry of what is happening. No question should have asked you to the level of saying that I will shoot you. This is pretty immature, if you ask me.
On national TV.
On national television. This is not even a national television, it's global. So
but some people have come out to, don't you think Wike just being spontaneous and maybe playful?
You can't play with shooting somebody.
I'm just thinking aloud. Maybe Wike is just trying to be. I don't think so. You know, the Wike that we know can be very jovial.
Don't try to colorate it. Don't try to paint it.
I'm not painting anything, Mr. Ibrahim. I'm not a lawyer.
Once somebody is talking about shooting somebody, it's a serious issue.
Okay, well, like you said, it's a serious issue. Yes. Sometimes I think somebody being on national TV, some can even mistake it to be maybe one of those teasers and jokes. All right, the issue of CSOs trying to attempt to occupy the INEC building.
Yes.
What do you make of that?
I see no reason.
Do you see any? Do they have any moral justification to do that? You know, looking at the issues.
Until they say it, we cannot know. But I don't think why will CSO try to occupy building belonging to INEC? INEC is a government institution in the first place, and it is the government that allocated them that place. So I don't see any reason why the CSO would say that. Anyway, I don't know what give them the premise to do that actually.
Well, maybe some might argue that probably this back and forth going on within the political system, INEC interpreting the court rulings and the rest of them, probably these are the excuses they are trying to use. But I don't think that's the best way to go to do that. I don't think that's the best way to go. Let's hope that everything will settle down. Let's see what we have in the next newspaper. Okay, The Nation.
The Nation starts with, we may not be able to field candidates in 2027, says ADC. We may not be able to field candidates in 2027 elections, says ADC. Well, that's quite disappointing.
Okay, any other headline there?
Tinubu to inaugurate multiple Lagos state projects. Tinubu to inaugurate multiple Lagos state projects.
All right, Tinubu to inaugurate multiple Lagos projects. Okay, we may not be able to field candidates into
that's a matter of concern actually.
That's the same issue we saw at the last newspaper headlines. Yes. And it's like every newspaper seems to be, carrying this story of fielding a candidate. But do you think it is going to actually be very possible for ADC, considering the gladiators, the political gladiators we have in ADC?
Of course, it is.
Is it possible for them?
Whatever gladiators they have in place in a particular political party, for as long as they belong to the opposition. You know, in Nigeria, just as in elsewhere in the world, the power of incumbency is very, very strong. And then we are witnesses to what is actually happening to the ADC with all those INEC requirements, and then the misrepresentation and re-representation of the court verdict, etc., etc. They perceive that, look, we may not be able to take care of all these difficulties that we are encountering presently. In fact, some of them are even trying to look at another option of joining another new political party or forming a new one entirely. But for me, I think it is clear. The initial court judgment is clear. Let the status quo remain. They should have allowed Mark and Arebesola to lead the party to the convention and primaries. That's my own way I look at things. But because there are certain forces acting against INEC and competing on INEC to do what is in their favor, that's why we can't see this happening in the shortest possible.
But I don't want to believe that there are forces. INEC is an independent body.
Independent
as it were. Well, if you choose to say so, but I think INEC, for the sake of those watching us, INEC is an independent body, and I want to believe that INEC, being an independent body, I don't think anybody is influencing them, so to say, because I heard you saying, I heard you saying the forces, and some of us want to actually.
Maybe anyhow, when I say forces,
unseen hands. And with the power of incumbency, well, Mr. Shaibu, I don't know. You resorted to using some science. You don't want to further explain the forces we're talking about. Anyway, the truth is that INEC is an independent body, and INEC is doing what is, required of him to do.
Constitutionally, it has. I explained to you in our last discussion that whatever INEC is doing now, it is within the requirement of their mandate, established mandate. But the way, manner, and the timing of doing such activities is what is of concern
So timing is not the issue.
Majority of Nigerians.
When you are talking about timing, then if they decide to go to another political party, don't you think the issue of timing will also affect them?
No, it depends on which party, or it depends on whether they are trying to form a new political party. There is also this option in the offing. Either can we go and form a new political party, or can we join a political party that relatively...
maybe use another political party.
Exactly, another platform. Yes, because like the day before yesterday, I think Konkoso hosted former Speaker of House of Reps and former Secretary of State Governor, Tambuwal, and I think Peter Abi in his house here in Abuja. So these are all political calculations and permutations taking place toward the 2027 election. But whatever it is, weakening all opposition party for to make them seem irrelevant is a threat to democracy itself. And these are the signs that Nigerians are seeing. Probably we will end up seeing only one strong candidate emerging towards the 2027 election. And this is very, very, very unhealthy.
But I don't think it's possible to weaken
a party
like ADC. You know, I'm just speaking. That's my own opinion. When you see the likes of Kwankwaso, P2B, El-Rufai,
PDP was one of the strongest party in Nigeria.
Okay.
And what is it today?
Well,
political parties are formed by human beings, and then especially in Nigeria, unlike the US or other countries in the world, parties are governed by ideologies. But here in Nigeria, parties are governed by interest. You see all those people at one time or the other from different political parties, and another time they are together, another time they part ways. You see, this is what's happening in Nigeria. For as long as their interest is not adequately catered for, they always moved around.
So it's all about interest now.
It's all about interest. This is our politics. It's all about interest.
So no ideology.
It's unlike the ordinary Nigerians. Most ordinary Nigerians, because they know that they rather play politics with ideology, their expectations. But Nigerian politicians, it is interest. It is not about these are the ideology we see. If you follow it in total, we are going to lead this country to the betterment of Nigeria and to the betterment of Nigerians. This is the ideology we think we can now embrace in order for us to achieve our governance objective.
Okay.
But Nigerian politicians hardly do that. Their own is interest. Who gets what at the end of the day?
Okay. Who gets what at the end of the day? That's the words of Mr. Ibrahim Shaib. Okay, let's see the next what we have on the next newspaper.
This is the
Guardian.
Opposition fight to stay on ballot amid legal and internal conflict. Opposition fight to stay on ballot amid legal and internal conflicts. This is just part of what we are discussing now.
Yes,
it is likely that this word will continue to say across all the national dailies.
Do you think this whole headline is being sponsored by the opposition party? Or maybe somebody else is doing that? Because
no,
virtually all the newspapers headline is carrying it.
These are not adverts. These are news. So I think it is the journalists that are doing their national responsibility. But
they seem to be on the same page on every newspaper.
It doesn't.
The same issue, the same matter.
This is the major concern of the nation as of now. We are approaching election, and everybody knows that there is a need for a stronger opposition, and everybody knows that the ADC is not formidable opposition to the incumbent. So I think it's just journalists doing their stuff. It's not an advert. This is news.
Okay, but do you think that this headline has a way of making INEC to sit up or as a wake-up call?
Of course.
When people are beginning to shout.
That's the importance of journalism.
Okay, that's the importance of journalism,
exactly.
Right? Trying to raise the consciousness of the people that look, this is what is going on. We are likely not to field a candidate because of this ABCD issue.
Exactly.
So do you see it as a wake-up call?
As a wake-up call
for INEC to begin to see that people are actually watching. There is check and balances.
Exactly.
Is that what you see?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Let's also look at that same Guardian. I think we have other very
World Health Day, concern over health funding sustainability as United States exit leaves $1.9 billion deficit. We also have bandit plan reprisal in Zamfara as Plateau Benue death toll rises. This is very sad.
This is very sad.
Just like I told you yesterday, every day we will have to see death recorded as a result of bandit.
And this time we're talking about reprisal attack.
Exactly.
And now that goes to show that is it that the whole effort, the whole idea of the kinetic approach and non-kinetic approach of the armed forces, the visit of the president is not yielding results?
Not so. Not even if it is, not in a very impactful way, I think.
Because for bandits to come out and
take a reprisal.
Even plan it, and we are even getting the information that
they're getting bolder and bolder by the day. They are no longer afraid or scared of anything again.
So what could be responsible for that?
Well, one is they feel the lackadaisical attitude on the part of the government itself, because like I say, the amount of money you keep telling us that you are spending in security is not actually what matters. The strategy you put in place, the monitoring, the intelligence are what matters actually. Even if you are spending trillion naira every month in fighting the insurgency, for as long as debt continue to rise, either as a result of insurgency or banditry or whatever, we cannot still feel impact of the trillions of naira you are spending. So do the needful.
The government is saying that the government is actually doing more. The last time we heard, government is planning to release 2.23 trillion, to reject the security architecture of the country, to ensure that this whole banditry and the rest is is a thing of the past. So why are we now seeing issues up to the extent that Plateau, Benue, everywhere it seems to be tensed?
Like I say, for as long as money is released for security purposes remain unaccounted for, we will not see any progress.
Unaccounted for.
Exactly. Because it's just our tradition that money meant for security is hardly accounted for. They will say, no, this is a security fund. You don't even need to account for it.
Is it by the governors or the security agencies or what? Because the governor seems to be the chief security of every state. And they give them allocations. Allocation is given to governors, what we call security votes. So what's going on?
Exactly.
We have security votes. We have monies given to the armed forces. So don't you think there's something wrong somewhere?
Millions being released for a security board, but you don't get to see what it is being used for, and that is the major problem now.
But I don't agree with you that is a major problem. I think there's something beyond that. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think that's a major problem. I mean to say
it's part of the problem. Well,
it can be part, but for me, I think it's beyond just this whole rhetoric that we are seeing.
So what's your opinion?
Well, my own opinion is that there's something somebody's not getting right somewhere.
Such as what?
Okay, now
I mentioned some of them. I say strategies. Maybe the strategies we are using is outdated. Then information. I can't understand how information always leaked out to the bandits or the insurgent. They always get information of the plans and the strategies that the military are going to adopt. Sure, you understand? They keep saying it. Many times when such people are apprehended, they make confession to the effect that yes, we got information that this and this and this is going to take place. How did that information in the first place get leaked? Like
now we are hearing that the plan of reprisal attack.
Exactly.
So what happens to the intelligence gathering?
Again, please be sincere, be honest with yourself. We hear trillions or maybe tens of billions of naira or even dollars released for security purposes. Have we ever seen what have been put or bought in order to fight security, banditry or insurgency? Not much, not many times, but we always hear that the monies have been released.
Also, we also heard that the United States, sent some troops to Nigeria to also see how they can help us.
I don't even know what they are doing yet.
All right, let's go to the next news. About that will be that for those that want to know details of what is going on, they can go to the Guardian and then read and see for yourself. Yes. Next newspaper, please.
Yes, okay.
Daily Trust 2027 ADC Ways Option.
That's just what I told
2027 ADC Ways Option.
Whether to keep fighting, whether to join another political party, or whether to form the same people forming a new one. Because it is not yet too late since they are still already together, and since they already have something like a constitution, they can always use and reject it, and then I don't think it's going to be a difficult.
The nephew guy,
I would rather see them.
The Mr. Nephew guy that took ADC to court. Some people came and argued that one person cannot form the NWC of a party. And that he resigned.
Of course.
And he's coming to say, no, he didn't resign. So we don't really understand what is really going on, because at some point, there's this information making the rounds, or rather rumor, that he resigned. And then he
denied that the resignation letter was forgery. But then again, his subsequent letters and write-ups, he keeps consistently misspelling the word chairman. And one son is now saying that the basis on which that this letter is considered fake is also unrealistic, because in that particular resignation letter, he spelled the word chairman as chairman. This word how we pronounce it, chairman, CHIARA instead of CHAIR.
Okay.
So in his previous letters that he signed using his name, he still consistently maintained misspelling of the word chairman as chairman. You understand? And then again, the use of mixture of capital letters and small letters in his writing, which appeared in that particular resignation letter, is also common to his other write-ups in the past.
So where did you get the fake letter from, like he's claiming?
The argument is not where he get the fake letter from. The argument is, why are they saying that the letter is fake? Not the origin of the letter actually, but why is it considered fake? It's just that you always say allegedly, allegedly. Then I found a letter. Then I found a letter allegedly to have written.
And you found a letter carrying that word allegedly.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody needs to tell you that this is secret.
Exactly.
This is Chidikenet.
And then there's a particular way you write my name. Do you understand?
But somebody can also borrow that word alleged. Allegedly is not liking to me. Somebody can also use that. And I want to argue with you that somebody.
Let me tell you something.
It doesn't establish a fact that
psychologists, psychologists, they say these are not things that are commonly observable by people, and then it's not also things commonly made by the person that's doing it. He's doing it unconsciously. He doesn't even know that he's doing it. He himself doesn't know that he's doing it. And you, the reader, because it's not every time that get the richest materials coming from him, you may not even pay attention.
But I hope you know there are experts that can forge anything. For people who are experts in forging,
of course there are.
They pay attention to everything.
To details, yes.
To details. They know these things. They study it because that is their job. Everyone knows it. So it is possible too that it is forged because for those who are experts in forging, you've seen people forge even naira notes. And it's looking very original.
Exactly, honestly speaking.
So if somebody can forge the currency, and currency of any country,
there's no document that cannot be forged.
There's no document that cannot be forged. So I think I don't want to belong to those group of people that will say it's possible that.
No, we are just expressing people's opinion.
All right, that my own opinion is different. All right, let's look at the other newspaper and see what we have.
Still in the Daily Trust.
Still on the Daily Trust, okay.
Despite hunger, Nigerians named Africa's top food waster. Despite hunger, Nigeria named Africa's top food waster. We are hungry.
And we are wasting.
That is it. So
is that true?
What do you understand by this?
Well, food wasters, I don't know.
Okay, I think when you observe
food wasters in the sense that
when you observe how tomatoes are being packed in trucks to be transported down south, you can understand what we mean by food wastage.
But it's not the fault of the farmer. Is it the fault of the farmer? Where are the roads?
No, we are not.
No, you know, some of these things can also be connected. It's not unconnected with the bad roads. Some of these farm produce cannot
even
be transported.
the way of packaging it. I think it's not about the farmers actually. It's about the middlemen, those who transport the food. And then sometimes farmers can farm food and then they may not find, especially all those perishable goods, you may not find some people to buy them. So at the end of the day, they keep.
So whose fault is that? The cost of purchase, the purchasing power is very low.
It's very low.
So whose fault is that?
The packaging also, how to preserve them is also, the knowledge to preserve those food items are also lacking. So many things. But actually we produce a lot of food.
I also have people who store the storage system too. We have those who stuff certain food items and like beans, rice, and at the end of the day,
they get wasted.
It's been eaten up by some form of insects. I have a case of 10 noodles of beans in my house that was sent to me, and the beans was not properly processed. Only for my wife to open the sack one morning, and the wiggle we saw in that beans, the insect. My children said they will never eat that beans.
You see?
But lo and behold, somehow, I will find a way around it. And
as an African.
I told my wife, why would not want to waste 10 noodles of beans? And then we have to convert it to what we call the akara and the moi moi.
After all, the insects themselves are proteinous.
Well, I don't know about that, Mr. Shaif. Insects are not proteinous. But what happened was that what happened that we found our way around it and we're able to process it into making of bean cake, what we call akara, of course, and moi moi and the rest of them. But we did not waste that time.
But seriously, a lot of food is being wasted in Nigeria, particularly when it comes to its transportation, packaging, etc., etc. And then in reality, the processing for us has weakened enormously, has dwindled so much so that people are now beginning to find it absolutely so difficult to provide for their families.
But why should we waste food now, considering the hunger?
Honestly,
because there is hunger.
There is.
You know that?
There is.
People are hungry. People are hungry. So why should farmers waste food? Who is to be blamed? Is it poor roads? Is it that we don't have enough facilities?
Like I said,
vehicles?
It's not mostly the farmers. It's not mostly the farmers. I say it is either through transportation, preservation, then packaging.
Okay, transportation, preservation, and packaging.
Yes. And then you see all those are not done by the farmers. The highest a farmer can, particularly a northern Nigerian farmer, can hardly store his food for longer than 3 to 4 months. He's always looking for his primary objective is to sell out whatever he harvested. So it is mostly those who buy it to take it to the market that are actually causing the wastage. They will buy it to store it. Some people will just keep buying it and then holding it in their stores. If it is perishable goods such as tomatoes, from the way it is being loaded on the trucks and then packaged in baskets. You have seen this a lot of time. Before it reached Lagos, it must have perished. People are stamping on it all over the market. So I think that's what is the fact.
Okay, let's not dwell much on that. Let's go to the next newspaper and then see what we have there. Okay, the Punch newspaper. Federal government budgets 135 billion for 2027 election lawsuits.
Because a lot of this is expected to come up. A lot of this, because
135 billion naira for 2027, I beg your pardon, election lawsuit. Why would federal government be doing that? Are they envisaging any form of legal tussle?
Of course, because
the election has not come yet, so why are they already budgeting money for that?
The election is a very serious business, so you have to make all necessary preparation right on time. Yes, even this revalidation exercise that INEC is trying to embark on is part of the preparations. So whatever you foresee is going to be the likelihood of whatever is going to happen must be thought about and must be taken care of in time.
So are you saying the federal government is being proactive?
Of course.
But proactive for what reason? That's my argument now. What is it for the right reasons? Because we've not even had the election. Is it that you are the whole idea of preparing for legal tussle? Is it that the federal government knows that there are certain things that is being done wrongly?
Anticipated. It's not about knowing. It anticipates. Looking at the political climate, looking at the problem opposition parties are encountering, even looking at the problem the APC itself as the ruling party is encountering, there are possibilities of this occurring even after the election. So adequate preparations have to be made. Just like they have to make preparation for the election, they also have to make preparations for the problems that the election might lead to.
Don't you say this as preempting the judiciary?
No, I think
because the judiciary should be preparing now, and probably the lawyers are getting ready, trying to dust the books.
Because after all,
dust the books and start getting ready for legal tussle.
You can never see an election happening in this country and then after it, that there's no legal suits.
Okay.
That's always happen.
Always happen.
Yes.
Okay. Let's look at any other juicy.
Doctors begin strike today over arrears.
Resident doctors.
Yes, resident doctors. Electricity tariff hike imminent as Genco's step up pressure. Oyo APC governor aspirants meet over 2027 consensus deal.
Okay, let's just look at the issue of the resident doctors going on strike today. Mr. Shaibu, what does that spell for us as a country?
Sad, because there are two institutions I respect a great deal, and these two institutions are the ones that are always been trampled upon by all successive administration.
Okay.
One, our university lecturers. Two, our doctors. That's why you always see brain drain across these two professions happening. some of the best university dons in the world are Nigerians. Some
Okay.
of the best doctors in the world are Nigerians. Because the country does not take good, proper care of them. They always run to other countries. But then you see the Senate, the House of Reps, they are always hacking their salaries and allowances. You understand? Meet their demand. It's easy. We have good doctors. But now, the way we are living now, I think it's one doctor to about 1,000 patients in this country.
And that will also trickle down to the level of death rates. In the country.
Exactly.
Then a lot of people will say, why now?
Our hospitals are ill-equipped. Our doctors are not properly catered for. Do you understand? Our university lecturers are not properly catered for. Or maybe just recently, I think that the professors have enjoyed increase in salary. About that was long overdue.
But some will argue, why now?
No, they have always been from time to time.
Why should they go on strike by this time? You're looking at the country is already occupied with so many activities. We have too many on our plates. So why going on strike now? That's what some people will argue.
We are not justifying. I think it's not okay for them to go on strike, but strike happens to be the only alternative for them to express their
to get attention.
Even university lecturers, they always do that anytime they feel okay. It's now about time that we see the amount of money they spend on election. See the amount of money they pay themselves as allowances and salaries. Do you know that probably now a common local, I can't call him common, a local government chairman earns better than some medical doctors?
You're sure of that?
No, I think so. Because the salary of the politician is way ahead of somebody that was a lot of years in the university preparing himself for something. Okay,
let's see what we have next. If you want to find out details on why doctors are going on strike, you can go to the Punch newspaper and find out the details. And the strike begins today, right?
Yes.
It's a sad one for those who are, due for delivery. And I'm sure now the private hospitals.
Right now, there are people that are expecting to be operated on.
Surgery. Yes, going for different kinds of surgery.
Exactly.
It's a sad one.
There are women that are supposed to be having their CS today.
Very sad.
And they cannot afford private hospital.
That's why the poor ones. It's a sad one indeed. Okay, let's see the next newspaper. All right, the next newspaper we have sports.
Barca eye Osimhen as Atletico frustrate Alvarez move.
Barca eyes Osimhen as Atletico frustrates
Alvarez move.
Okay, that's a good one for Osimhen.
Yes.
Barcelona is eyeing one of our top strikers,
Osimhen.
Victor Osimhen, who currently plays with Galatasaray of
Turkey, yes.
And it's a good one for him because Barcelona is a team that is, that has a very strong global presence everywhere as long as football is concerned.
Yes.
I would say if that happens, because for now it's just eyeing him, no pen and paper yet.
Exactly.
But we're very hopeful that
depends on the deal.
Yes, let's hope that something happens, and he gets to sign that contract. All right, that will be all for now on our newspaper review. When we come back, we'll be going on a short break. We'll go straight to the issue of today. Once again, this is Politics and Business Television. Welcome to the morning show. All right, welcome back. Okay, the judiciary over the years had prided itself as a noble institution that upholds justice for the common man. This we can relate with making reference to the statement of the former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, who made a statement that portrays the judiciary as an institution that can be truly independent if allowed to function without any form of interference. He further raises concerns of the possibility of a repeat of such judicial integrity in our current judicial system. Today, we shall be discussing or diving deeply to the topic or to the statement of the former Vice President, which says that I took my boss to the court 11 times and I was granted justice. Okay, Mr. Shaibu, Atiku Abubakar is at it again.
He's not at it again. I think he was just making a statement to make comparison between what obtains in today's court and what used to be obtained in those days, when the judiciary seems to have credibility among the people. You see, the court has ruled favorably towards Atiku Abubakar in so many cases. I can't remember whether they are up to 11 or something like that. But I remember one vividly whereby he did not win. I think that was the time that he complained. He took the case to court against the winning of Olusegun Obasanjo's second tenure in office. That was the only time he didn't win his case. Now, what are we saying? In those days, the courts themselves have this kind of action as constitutional, institutional strength and courage. They stand by what they are. They are actually a place whereby you can come with your complaint, they will listen to you and then judge you, not based on who you are, but based on the constitution and the requirement of the legal framework.
But he said, looking at the statement, he said, I took a sitting president 11 times. Let's put that, let emphasis on that word. 11 times.
I can remember some of those times.
According to him, Atiku Abubakar said he never saw or paid visit to any judge or whatever, or spoke to any judge. And yet he took a sitting president. Mark the word sitting president. They are very two strong words here. The sitting president and then 11 times to court. And he was granted justice. Is it, that was a laudable one for the judicial system.
One of the first instances was his disqualification for 2027 election. The federal government tried to disqualify him for the election, and then he took the case to a court, and the court ruled in his favor, declaring the government action as unconstitutional. In fact, they call it illegal, null and void. He won this outrightly because they said that as a citizen of the country, he was not found wanting or a criminal, any criminal substance not having taken place on him. He has every right to contest. I think that was the first case he won. And then again, at a certain point in time, the government tries to move to investigate him and then seize some asset belonging to him. I think that was around 2006.
Okay, the government tried to seize certain...
Yes, to investigate him first for corruption and then seize certain assets from him. I think that was somewhere between 2006 and 2007. Atiku rushed back to the court again. Then the court judged in his favor, restraining action of the federal government and reinforcing due process and constitutional protection for the vice president, because they couldn't, the government of the day could not actually prove itself beyond reasonable doubt that those assets were illegally acquired by Atiku. That was the second time. And then all along, it was the federal government against Atiku, spearheaded by the former president by himself. Then the third time was when he defected, because he was no longer finding the PDP very convenient for him. There was a lot of pressure, and then there was a lot of problem between him and the president. He felt hard. I should just move out from the party. I'm still the vice president, but let me just defect to another party. That was the time he moved to that political party that was actually established by the current president. Action Congress, is it Alliance for AC? Yeah, he moved to
ACN.
Okay, ACN was the one that was established by Tinubu. His own was AC. Atiku Abubakar joined AC, and then the federal government again moved against him and said, "Oh, we will now declare your position vacant because you became vice president under the PDP." So again, Atiku for the third time rushed to the court, and then the court for the third time vindicated Atiku and said his mere defection to another party It's not solid enough for him to step down as vice president. He won this case too. So you see, these are things that can hardly happen today.
And now, before we get to that, narrative, let's look at you have carefully stated different issues,
exactly,
and Atiku approached the court with, and then how he was granted justice.
Justice, exactly.
Now, one will argue that, looking at the fact that the sitting president was in power, the person of Olusegun Obasanjo, his then known boss.
Exactly.
What do you make of that? Was it that the president, because he made a comment, he said, without seeing
any court or
without any judge,
exactly,
any justice or any whatever, he didn't see anybody.
It's just his lawyers doing their work against the lawyers of the federal
and he was granted justice.
And he was granted justice in all those.
Do you see that? What do you make of that? Is it that the judiciary was indeed independent? Because I was,
yes,
some may argue that, even though I will not answer, but because I'm trying to, before we now marry it to the current situation now, I'm trying to find out why
there are 3 or 4 things that are happening that happened in those times.
Okay.
Regarding Atiku's, not only Atiku, other cases that happened around that time, particularly political cases. We'll highlight some of those examples later in the discussion. You see, at that time, what we will take up today is one, the courts openly ruled against a sitting president, and the sitting president agreed to all those court judgments. That will tell you that the president in that time respect the constitution and respect the legal framework, the legal system.
Yeah, so but I want to disagree with you.
Wait.
Don't you think? No, I want to disagree with you in that aspect, because it's all about the president now. The judiciary is meant to be independent.
Listen to me. That's what I'm telling you, that the president knows about the independence of the court. That's why he respects the judgment and don't do anything. Unlike maybe today, some president would like to show their influence. That's what I'm trying to say.
Are you saying that the president of the country has the power to influence decisions of the judiciary?
Constitutionally, the 3 arms of government should have independence in themselves: the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. You understand?
Okay.
But in most cases, that is not what is obtained. In many, not only in Nigeria, in so many African countries, the will of the president sometimes, most often, come into play. We are trying to make comparison between then and now.
Yes, we're getting there. We're getting there.
3 things are
but I want to believe that Atiku, first of all, is a Nigerian.
Yes.
And I want to believe that the court granted him justice based on the fact that he was a Nigerian. That's what he's trying to, not because he was the vice president then, or because the president has an influence or whatever. I just want to believe that there's this sanctity.
Are we not speaking about the same thing?
Yes.
That's what I'm telling you. First,
I want to believe that
the court ruled in favor of Atiku.
Yes.
Against a sitting president.
Okay.
And the sitting president accepted that judgment without respecting the constitution of the country.
Yeah, I know, but my opinion is that the president then has no choice.
Okay,
it's all about being a sitting president.
I agree.
Judgment is judgment. Nobody's above the law.
How many times today court will pass judgment? Not even just recently, a girl, Walida, somebody was abducted.
Okay,
by alleged DSS personnel. Do you understand? Then the court passed several judgments. Did that DSS honor that judgment? So it's not even a president, not even the governor. We are trying to make comparison. But in that time, a president himself said, okay, I respect God. This is a plus. This is to tell you that things have changed. Later, towards the later part of our discussion, we'll come to agree, make such comparisons. You understand? Okay. That is actually the key point you are trying to ask. So secondly, again, judiciary at that time has institutional courage and independence. Nobody tampers with it.
So now they don't have?
They do, but to a lesser degree.
Why is it lesser? That's my argument.
I just gave you maybe a lot of corruption.
Okay, are you citing corruption of one of them, allegedly?
There are so many reasons, but corruption is obviously one of them. Corruption does a lot of did and is still doing a lot of damage to our system, in our systems today. Is it the educational sector? Is it the judiciary? Is it the polity? Is it the executive? Corruption has eaten deep into us, even to the lowest level of the market woman. There are corruption. How many times you will ask a woman selling potato by the roadside, you are in your car, you tell her how much is each basket. She will tell you is 20,000. You are in your car, you give her your 20,000, put it in my boot. She may not put all of them. Corruption has eaten deep into our life. That is second. And then the third one is that these are what strengthen our institutional democracy then. Unlike today. We'll make this comparison later. So, you can remember, there was also a time that, how did Amechi become a governor of this thing?
Of Rivers State.
Rivers State. His name was not on the ballot. He contested, he was in PDP. He was supposed to be the gubernatorial candidate. But somehow, some way, we are still coming to government. INEC did not put his picture on the ballot paper.
Okay.
The Riverians voted for PDP. So the government said, okay, although his name is not there, the people chose PDP. So Amechi, although his name and picture is not on the ballot.
You know what you mean, Amechi?
Yes. Already somebody else had been declared winner by INEC. I couldn't remember, is it Deep Ray Silva or somebody like that? He was declared winner. He was even in government house. He was even sworn in. I think a few months later, Amechi run back to the court. But because that court at that time is independent, it worked only with the constitution and proof and evidences.
Yeah, that's the concern here now.
Yes.
There's this word you keep using. The court as a then was independent. Are you saying now? Some may argue that what happened, what changed, why is it that the court is no longer independent now?
It is still independence, but it still suffers from influence, external influence, just like any other government agencies. Whether it is obvious, whether it is happening underneath the carpet, but there are still influences of external forces working over a lot of our agencies. Once a public servant accepts gratification from any quarter, it is already compromised.
But I think I want to argue with you that the court actually is still dispensing justice. Looking at the case, looking at the case of the ADC internal saga of Mr. Nephew, when they say the status quo should remain, actually yes, the status quo should remain. That is what is expected. While depending on when the court ruling or when the court rules over the matter, but now it's now for the judge or the lawyers to interpret what particular status quo should remain.
If we're going to trade this line, we'll still go deep into some discussion. Why did INEC in the first place accept that letter of resignation date? Now they're announcing it's fake. When it was submitted to them in the first place, why didn't they check it properly to make sure that it was fake? They accepted it. There was their stamp on it, receiving the letter.
But are they subjected it to any forensic test?
They did not. And what are they now accepting the fact that it is fake? They should have done that at the initial stage of the thing, at the word go. Sure, you understand? But they accepted it, and then I heard that I read somewhere that even the meeting that was held, the initial meeting that was held, and then David Mark and Aribe Shola and the others were accepted as interim leaders. A letter was sent inviting INEC to attend that meeting. And they sent a representative. Why are they not all playing all this or taking all this into considerations now? Okay. Do you know why?
No.
Some external hands at work.
That is Mr. Shaibu.
See, that is people perception. No? You see, and when a lot of people perceive something, like I always tell you, politics is always about perception.
These external hands we keep talking about. External hands.
When are we going anywhere?
When are we going to see those hands?
You cannot see them. You can only feel them.
You can only feel them.
Yes, you can feel them. You can know that yes, something is happening.
But you can't see them.
You can hardly see them.
Well, I would like to.
Sometimes the things.
I want to see those things as one of those conspiracy theories. It's not a fact yet.
Yes.
I don't want to agree with it because there's a saying that goes that if anybody wants to find fault in you, in life, he can even blame the snail for overspeeding.
Exactly.
So I want to believe that some of these talks are bound to happen.
So you mean to tell me I've never seen a snail overspeeding?
Well, there's no snail that is overspeeding because the snail does not have the capacity to run fast. Now look at this statement here.
Yes.
In this write-up, he further raises concern of the possibility of a repeat of such judicial integrity in our current judicial system. What happened to Abubakar Atiku when he was a vice president, where he got justice approaching the court 11 times. And with that, according to him, with that saying, that means some may say, oh, is it that they see judges? I don't understand what the meaning of that word saying, without approaching or talking to anyone. But he's
These are some of the unseen hands sometimes.
Well, I don't want to believe.
Because he knows that sometimes things happen without you seeing them, but he did not do that. That's what he's saying. Even at that time, things happen. That's what he's saying. What things they happen, no, but me, I didn't even.
All those things, they are all, speculations and conspiracy theory. Okay, let me look at. He said, is it possible to see a repeat of such a judicial integrity in our current judicial system? What he's trying to say is this. Let me explain this very well. Is it possible for our current judicial system for somebody to approach the courts now over a sitting president, mark the word sitting president, and get justice 11 times? Is it possible, Mr. Shaibu?
Well, a repeat of similar Atiku Abubakar style of judicial defiance may be possible. Yes, it may be possible, but less predictable.
Maybe possible, but less predictable.
Less predictable. Honestly speaking, because in truth, court still takes complaint from aggrieved politicians. They pass judgment, and oftentimes they pass judgment based on evidences.
Okay.
And then if you happen to be favored by the justice system, you will be granted victory. It has happened in some places, still up to today. And then still we can see sometimes even court pass judgment against government agencies. Do you understand? So this somehow happens. But this kind of institutional courage, strong, absolute independence like the court used to enjoy in the older days, honestly, is no longer a commonplace today in this country. Because I'm not saying...
Why do you think so?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying this because maybe the quality of the judges produced are weak. No. I'm not saying maybe because the institutions are weak. No. The institutions are still strong. The quality of judges that are on our bars are still the same strong judges. Nigerian judiciary, they are very strong. But it's because of the system that we have found in changing times. Do you understand? Today, the politicians go extra mile to achieve victory, doing whatever it is. Sometimes when they are up to something, they forget about the constitution. To them, their victory, their objective is all that matters to them. Unlike before, when every step a politician will take, he will now take it looking at what the constitution says. Even if I now grab victory over this by force, by hook or by crook, so procedure, so section of the constitution will later find me guilty. Do you understand? Just like when this Amechi did not consent using his name of
Rotimi Amechi.
His name was not on the ballot paper. His picture was not on the ballot paper. So the Riverians, they went and marched and voted PDP all along.
That's River State.
So INEC said, yes, INEC said, well, we didn't see anybody's name on, there was no person's name in the ballot, so they give it to the opposing party. I can't remember that time. I'm still thinking maybe it's Silver.
No, it's not Silver. I think when I remember that name, I will.
Yes. Then, Amechi wasn't okay. Because he knew that he has won for campaign all over the nook and cranny. He can't understand why his name was not featured on the ballot paper. He went to court. Many months after,
and he got justice.
I think almost a year after. That's why even when other people, governors his mate were leaving the government house, he was still in the government house because he was trying to make up for the...
Okay, now, Mr. Brian, looking at all these beautiful, narratives you've given, trying to make us see the strength and independence of the judiciary. Atiku Abubakar is asking, can we still get such kind of justices or judgments, as it were, in our today's judicial system? That is the crux of the matter in this topic. Is it possible? Let's say the way it is, because we've seen different kinds of judgments, and some might call it alleged judicial rascality. Like in the last presidential election, where the whole world was sat down and was waiting to see.
You know why it's difficult?
And some people were comfortable, some were not comfortable. So I want to know, from your own opinion, is it possible to see a repeat of this beautiful Amechi getting judgment, Atiku getting judgment, even while we have a sitting president 11 times? Is it possible to see it now? That is what I want to know.
Initially, I said it may be possible, but it's not easily realistic. But let me just tell you,
it may be
in
possible.
Pomp and Glory, it may be very, 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 very difficult. Let me give you an example. We saw all the judges in this country, majority of the judges, they converged in one place and started singing the praise of the president, saying, "On your mandate we stand." That shows that they have already been compromised. Secondly, secondly,
you mean judges are singing that song?
Haven't you seen it? I think that the video was there. I can't remember. I think he went to the, is it Nigerian Bar Association or something? He came to address them. Tinubu came to address them. The president came to address them. And then there was pictures of all these judges and all these Supreme Court, Appeal Court. So many judges there. I think that was when he increased their salary by a huge amount of percentage. This is number one. Then number two, recently we had that they were given duplexes, apartment buildings here in Abuja.
What we call Judges Street.
Judges Street. And then they were given swaps, very expensive cars. Do you understand? So you see, when public officials start taking gratification from powers that be, this already goes to show something.
Probably that is what triggered the registered doctors to go on strike.
Exactly.
But you see,
exactly.
Don't you think judges are meant to live well? Have a good life?
Let them live. They decide when you are given appointment, when you start your work, you are given an appointment letter.
Yes.
Starting with from a certain grade level and certain salary level, isn't it? Be contented. Live within what your earnings can give you.
So Atiku got justice, Amechi got justice, probably the judges
because they were contented where they were.
They were not living well then.
Exactly. Whether they are living
well,
well,
they were not living well, or they were contented.
They were
because we're trying to find out what actually changed. Is it that probably now the justice system allegedly has been, infiltrated by so many factors?
You may not know, even
what happened? Because for a person of Alhaji Atiku to make this comment shows that he understands.
Thank you. You're trying to agree with me.
I'm not agreeing with you. I'm not agreeing with about this here.
You said for the person of the dignity of President Atiku Abubakar to come out publicly and
a well-placed Nigerian like that who has risen to the position of the vice president
smoke without fire
for 8 years. For him to make this comment, there's something he knows about the system.
Exactly.
So, but I'm trying to see. I don't believe it's an unseen hand. I just believe things change with time.
I told you that too.
Things change.
The system is
either for good or for bad. But in this case now, we are trying to find out, because for him to raise concerns of a possible repeat. For example, we have the current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Is it possible for anybody at all?
You see, the problem is that.
No, let me ask you directly. Is it possible for anybody at all to take President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to court and get justice? That is what Atiku is trying to say.
Exactly.
He took Obasanjo to court while sitting.
It's very unlikely because.
And that goes to show the strength of character of the president then. I'm coming. Yes, to an extent that one I will agree.
Yes.
Because for him to say without saying.
He respects judgment of the court. He respects the court's independence. Do you understand? So he said, okay, go.
So now what happened? That sometimes we see court judgments not being respected, even by some organizations, government agencies and organizations.
Exactly.
So what changed? That's what I'm trying to find out. Is it that they've been infiltrated or something happened? Because the independence of the judiciary is independence of the judiciary.
I said they have been compromised. For as long as I'm a Muslim, there's this story that we had that a king walked into a mosque. When he walked into a mosque, there are some people, some are lying down, some are reading the Quran. When he came in, because they know he was very generous, everybody got up. So he gave them bags of gold and silver. There was this particular ulama, what do you now call malam. He was lying down with one of his legs on top of the other. So the king said, you, take. He handed him the bag of money and gold and silver.
Okay.
The malam, Muallim, said, if as you come in, I didn't wake up, don't you think my hand is too heavy for me to raise and accept something from you? Once I accept something from you, I cannot tell you the truth. You understand? I'm telling you that once a public officer can raise his hand, this one is not even a public officer, it's just a scholar. Once you can accept gratification or benefit from a very powerful person, you are already compromised. You can never tell truth to him.
Without finding out the intention of why he's giving you such.
And because of that today, the real confidence on the judicial system has declined among the Nigerians.
But there are people who have similar strength of character, like the former president Olusegun Obasanjo. That can even give them whatever gratification you give to them, and they will still maintain their position.
Of course, they are
judicial justice.
Of course,
so I don't want to believe
the judges.
I don't want to believe it's all about the gratification
Even
or buying the building of duplexes. For example, for those who are watching, for those who know me very well, if no matter what you give to me, sir, it doesn't stop me from telling you the truth.
That remains to be seen.
Huh? That should be tested.
I'm telling you, that remains to be seen.
That remains to be seen.
Let me see I talk to.
No.
I'm telling you that.
Mr. Shaibu, I am telling you that I don't, because you keep mentioning this unseen hands, gratification.
So let me list some things.
And I want to say, I'm coming. I want to argue with you that there are still people. Are you saying that being the sitting president is not enough threat to rule against him as a judge? That the judge stands the opportunity of losing his job as a judge, ruling against a sitting president in favor of the vice president, who is the number 2 man.
You can't.
And the judge ruled in favor of a vice president over a sitting president. That is strength of character on the part of the judges. And I want to believe that those judges, by way of direct or indirect, also have some form of gratifications from the then known government. So I want to believe that probably now, allegedly, quote and unquote, the judges we're having today may not probably have probably have, quote and unquote, more of political nature than judicial nature. Allegedly.
It's part of it.
Now, that's my own position, because what happens to the strength of the character of those judges or those justices then, as it were? What happened when we see judges standing firm, staring at the president face to face and say, Oga, you are wrong, and rule in favor of his subordinate, the vice president? And the vice president is making reference to that what happened? Why is it that can it happen today? Can our judges today look at the face of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nyesom Wike, and many APC, strong political stalwart, allegedly, and rule against them? That is what Atiku is trying to say. Can it happen today? What happened to the strength of the character of those judges that also, explains the true independence and integrity of the judicial system? That is what Atiku is trying to query here. And we are saying, as journalists, what happened? That is the problem. And I understand the fact that you said, yes, it is possible that our hands are there. These are factors. It's also possible that 1 or 2 inducements, allegedly, we are not in a position to know, must also be part of the factors. But then again, let's know what happened. Judges are trained to uphold the tenets of the judiciary. It's a noble profession where integrity, ethics is being respected. So I want to argue with you that it is not just the issue of, just like Atiku said, we start seeing them. That seeing them means a lot. It is not about that.
Yes.
I think it has to do with the strength of the character of the person. I'm going psychological now, sir.
Obviously.
A man who, there's a saying that goes, that when a man tells you, you made me to slap you, it's not true. You are a slapper by nature. It's not that you have not been tested.
That's very so.
Yes, you have not been tested. So probably you have not seen any opportunity that will make you to slap somebody. Probably you have not been provoked to the extent where you lose your emotions and lose your steeze and composure, and then you lay your hands on somebody by way of slap. So don't come and tell somebody, you made me. That's gaslighting. That's narcissism. You made me slap you. No, nobody made you. You are a slapper yourself. If you are a man who is you beat your wife, you are involved in domestic violence, and then she provoked me, she made me beat. You are a beater. It's not that you've not been tested. So back to you, Mr. Shaibu. In as much as I, to an extent, want to agree with you that certain factors can play a role, but I also want to maintain my position that a man who has depth of character has the depth of character, regardless of whether influence or whatever inducement that might come his way. That's my position. So I don't know if you have anything to say based on that, because
yes, the only thing I will add on to what you said is that real confidence has really eroded among Nigerians, as particularly as regard the judicial system, because when there are per se political influences, it's very, very clear. The people know that court decisions are often being influenced by decisions coming from above. And then again, we always see delays and technical dismissal in causes, in court cases, and then also we see election cases being decided on procedural ground rather than merits. They will just subject a case to procedures. It will take a long period of time before judgment is passed. Sometime before they even pass judgment, even the election year has passed.
They keep adjourning.
Exactly, they keep adjourning till even you, the complainant, become exhausted and tired, because you keep going to court, you keep wasting your time, you keep spending your money and all that. And then there are lack of consequences for disobeying court orders. Just like I gave you one example that did not even concern politics. The 3 different court orders were given for that DSS.
Okay.
He violated all of them. That's not even a political leader. That's only a common civil servant, public servant. Talk less of those who have the political strength to influence decisions. In the past, when court gives an order, even president respect them. We just give an example of Olusegun Obasanjo, a man of integrity. On 11 different occasions, he succumbed to the powers of the court. A sitting president. So if an ordinary public servant can ignore the orders of court in this present Nigeria, you can imagine.
You can disrespect.
You can imagine the complaint former President Atiku Abubakar is making.
So are you saying that the whole system has dwindled so low?
Has eroded.
To the extent that has eroded so low, to the extent that public servants are now disobeying court orders.
Exactly.
Whereas in the past, the sitting president
respects court order with dignity, even against his arch enemy, because at that time the two seemed to be arch enemy. You have never
seen. So one can allegedly say that the judiciary is allegedly losing
its integrity.
Not just integrity.
Yes, that's
the quote unquote credibility, and that's independence.
Exactly.
Because when we say the judiciary is independent, as it's supposed to be, as enshrined in the Constitution, and then we are seeing public servants disobeying court orders from a federal high court.
Honestly.
Okay.
You see, the major division between the courts now and then the courts were bold. At that time, they also are confrontational with executive power, and they are seen as strong check on the presidency. But today, the court is yet still functioning, but public trust is weak today. Some people now, if you say, take me to court, they say, no, let's just settle out of court. People don't even want to go to court because they know at the end of the day, they might not get justice out of the court. And then again, today, the court are seen by critics as more cautious or constrained to take decisions. Because they always look at, if I take decision, it may anger so and so persons. So you understand? So they still, that influence that you don't like me to be coming back to, I will still keep coming back to them. When certain decisions are being influenced by powers that be, even your independence is compromised.
So the courts, or as it were, the judicial system that pride itself as a noble institution that upholds justice for the common man is beginning to become a bit.
All I will say is that their credibility has weakened among Nigerians. It is now up to them to clean up their houses. So
the court is no longer for the common man.
Exactly.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, partly.
Partly. Okay, allegedly. Well, yeah, like I would always like to use the word allegedly. All right, Mr. Shaibu, thank you very much for doing justice to this very topic. All right, we'll be going on a short break, and when we return, we're going to dive into other issues making the rounds. This is Politics and Business Television. Go nowhere. We'll be back after this timeout. All right, welcome back to the I beg your pardon, to PNB Morning Show. All right, my name is T. Kenneth Chidi, and I still have with me Mr. Ibrahim Shaibu. Mr. Shaibu, welcome once again.
Thank you.
All right, okay. The independence of the nation's electioneering umpire is today facing the biggest credibility test, citing the recent allegations against the FCT minister, Mr. Nyesom Wike, allocating lands to national electoral commissioners. This claim was made known by one of the beneficiaries who, according to him, sees it as a form of inducement for 2027 election. This is happening at a time when Nigerians are experiencing high political tensions. The question is INEC truly independent? Does this allegation further underscores the credibility of the forthcoming polls? These are the many questions that we shall be going into today on the P&B Morning Show. All right, Mr. Shaibu, INEC is the front runner now. INEC is undergoing serious integrity test.
Exactly.
And let me put it straight to you. There was this allegation making the rounds, or will I say rumor flying around, where the minister of the FCT, that is in the person of Barrister Mr. Nyesom Wike, Mr. Project.
So you have to mention all his 5 or 7 names.
There's an allegation making the round that he is allocating lands to electoral umpires, key national electoral umpires. And one of the electoral commissioners by name Muhammad Haruna came out to make this statement. Now we are beginning to see high and very sensitive personalities in government coming to make strong statements. In fact, report has it that 29 of them got this,
Plots of lands
allocated
to them.
And now this raises a lot of concerns and questions. Is INEC truly independent? Does this allegation further underscore the credibility of the forthcoming polls? These are the many questions Nigerians are asking. Like you said before now, in the case of the judiciary, when you receive certain form or kind of gratification
or benefits, or inducements, you have already compromised your integrity.
So now, Mr. Shaibu, shoot. What's your take on this issue?
Well, if the allegations comes to be true, it will start directly at the perceived neutrality of INEC as an election umpire. The biggest risk for this is loss of public trust. And that public trust is already weak among Nigerians. Even the selection of the current umpire, there are sections of Nigerians that are not even happy. They are not comfortable with his nature. And then if it turns out that some of the key officials of this INEC can take gratification and benefit from a politically exposed figure serving as a minister in the incumbent administration, it points to a question of credibility. And we have reasons. When I say we, I mean we Nigerians have reason to be fearful, particularly as we approach 2027 general election. Because that I gave you an example of that Islamic story, there is no way a person can rise up his hands to accept gratification or gift from somebody and then tell truth to that somebody.
Are you sure of that?
Of course.
There are people. Some will argue with you that there are those who still have that strength of character.
Let me tell you something.
No matter what you give to them, I told you I'm one of them.
You even made an example with yourself. I said that remains to be seen. You are just saying it. It depends.
Okay, but I know myself very well.
It depends on the level of gratification being given out.
Oh, it depends the level of price.
Everybody has a price.
Okay,
so you understand.
But I want to disagree with you totally.
So before
I will disagree with you on that.
You always disagree.
Yes, I will disagree with you because
then again,
I have been tested so many times.
Are there no secondary school principals within Abuja that need houses? Secondary school principals, public secondary school principals. Are there no junior doctors that are in need of houses?
Is it because it has not?
Why INEC officials?
Why INEC officials? Well, I think
probably because if he gives those houses plot of land to primary secondary school principal, why would
they don't have any political relevance? Is that what you are saying?
That's what I'm saying. Why?
But I want to say something.
And then again, why now?
Do they deserve to have the land or not?
I am always
in their capacity as a national commissioner. Don't they deserve to get a land?
Are they the only people that deserve to get a land? Did they apply?
They are not. Yes, I agree with you that others also deserve the land. The doctors and the rest of them. But
you can only be given a piece of land, allocate a piece of land when you apply. You know, I told you that I worked with I used to be a civil servant. I worked with Kaduna State Ministry of Land and Survey. I told you that. So I know the process involved in allocating of land. You first buy a form and apply for the land. But when a city minister direct that land allocation be printed and then issued to individuals that are coming from one particular.
So now the issue here now is because the allocation is coming from a city minister.
Exactly. And then
so what's wrong in that?
No, coming from a city minister to a particular set of people in a particular place at a particular time.
So the issue now is city minister, a particular set of people at a particular time.
Yes.
Is that making it look suspicious?
Of course.
I don't want to agree.
You must agree.
You know, I can make promises.
I give you an example.
I can make promises to you, Mr. Ibrahim. Now, and decide to fulfill it a day to your birthday. Could that be seen to be
so all those 29 people
like a birthday gift?
All these 29 people have the same birthday and they are working the same.
I'm just giving an example now.
Dreamer. What are you trying to say?
No, I'm trying to tell you that if I promise you somebody,
so if you are talking, don't even bring this analogy.
No. I am trying to tell you, Mr. Ibrahim.
If you are saying that they are giving plot of land because it is their birthday.
No, not birthday. I gave an example of my own.
All of them happen to be.
No, your birthday now. If I make promises to you, Mr. Ibrahim, and I decide to fulfill it a day before your birthday, could that be seen to be a birthday gift?
Why will we make promise to the same kind of people working in the same place at a particular time?
So the timing is an issue.
I always tell you that I'm too sensitive about the timing of a particular action or even statement.
Gives it interpretation.
Particularly when it has to do with politics. Particularly when it has to do with politics. One, the color of cloth you wear. Is you are saying something. Two, the time that you say something or do something, it also points out to something.
Okay.
Even your body movement in politics says something. That's why I always tell you perceptions are very, very important in politics. Why would you allocate?
But some perceptions can be wrong.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
You are a pro-Wike person. No? I have nothing against Wike.
I'm not a pro-Wike person.
Situation where
I'm just looking at it that Wike calls me now and gives me land.
Maybe that's what they're trying.
No, if he gives me land now, and you will not say, "Oh, Wike has given me land, though." For that reason, you know, being a minister of the ruling party
applies to you,
and then I will now come on air and become pro-Wike. No, Wike can give me land for the sake of the fact that I deserve to get the land. Number one, I'm a citizen of Nigeria. I want a land. You also want a land in Abuja.
If you are given those plot of land,
yes,
maybe to 3 key INEC officials, that wouldn't have caused a lot of problems among Nigerians.
So the number of being 29 is
yes, they were all 29 were allocated piece of land, and at the same time, see, I'm not even the one complaining here. It's one of the beneficiaries that are complaining here.
Muhammad Haruna.
Yes. That must mean they are expected to do certain things, just like the courts are expected to behave in a certain way when the time comes. I see no reason why administration will keep inciting public officials and bending their hands towards something. And that's exactly what is happening.
But that is his own opinion. That is his own opinion. That is Muhammad Haruna's opinion. Yeah, now, according to him, he sees it as a form of inducement for 2027 election. That is allowed. And I share his view. I share his view. I don't share in his view.
And millions of Nigerians.
I don't share his view. Why I say I don't share in his view, Mr. Nafiu, we have seen a case. Mr. Brian, we have seen a case of Mr. Nafiu, who is now denying his resignation, as it were now, allegedly. Now, you see, what makes you think that out of the 29, even the Holy Book made us understand that among the 12 disciples that Jesus Christ had, one denied him, one betrayed him. So I want to see that scenario playing out here. Out of the 29, probably one is not anti whatever it is, anti-Wike or whatever, or maybe is in
the midst of plenty. God has endowed Nigeria with everything except good politicians. We have everything. God has prepared everything for us. Even our soil is yielding good food. It's it's fertile soil we have. Do you understand? All the resources that other countries have 1 or 3 or 2 or 5, we have plenty. You don't even know the number of solid mineral we have in this country. We are blessed with oil. But up to today, people are dying of hunger. People cannot even cater for themselves. People cannot pay their school fees. That is because we have everything, but we don't have good politicians. Corruption has eaten deep into us. One person can emerge wealth in trillions. A wealth that is supposed to go around the state. One person, just a single person, can corner it. Can you imagine that? So when we start seeing people like this guy now, these are the kind of people that are supposed to be in government agencies such as INEC, even our judiciary, or even to be part of their political life. But we hardly see some people like that.
Okay, what do you think should be going on in the minds of INEC now as an institution who is supposed to be
personally, me personally,
what do you think as an institution who is saddled with the responsibility to conduct the 2027 election and is expected not to be biased? So what do you think will be going on in the minds of those other 28? Don't you think they will be...
I'm not even concerned about what is going on in their mind. I'm only concerned about what are they supposed to do. Not what is going on in their mind.
No, going on in their mind in the sense that you see, 1 out of the 29 has come out to blow the whistle.
First, in their mind, they will know that yes, we are being exposed. They will know that first of all.
And it will serve as a check. As a check.
We have been found out. We have been exposed. Then after that, the most important thing is now that we are exposed, what are we supposed to do?
Return the land or
reject the offer? Put the forms, put the allocation together, give it to their own chairman. Nobody should take it individually. Let them take it, because now it is the credibility of INEC that is at stake. If the 29 were given one plot of land, what do you think is given to the chairman? Do you understand? So let them put all those allocations together, give it to the chairman. Ogao, we have been found out to. Please take this back to sender. So once they do that, let them come out publicly and declare that these are the allocations given to us for which Nigerians are complaining. We have rejected it. Unless they do that, the credibility of INEC as an institution and umpire of election remains doubtful.
So now anybody that Wike gives a land now within this political season could be...
Don't say anybody. Please. You speak better English than me. You speak better English than me. Don't say anybody that Wike gives.
No, any political don't say or that. Any... Okay, let me reframe my word.
Yeah. Any public servant that has anything to do with election. Any public servant or any judicial servant.
Yes.
That has anything to do with 2027 election. Not only Wike, if any public...
But anybody outside that... Anybody outside that cannot be...
Don't restrict it to... Wike is not the only person doing this thing. Generally, let's generalize this thing. Even across the state.
But his own is becoming louder.
Don't let us restrict our advocacy to just particular time or particular people. Any public servant
that receives any form
of gratification from any politician
at this given time
is doing it because he is giving himself to be used towards 2027.
Okay, now Mr. Shaibu, my birthday is coming up May next month.
Yes.
Are you saying that as a journalist, if one of the politicians comes to give me something, and being a journalist who is always at the front burner to discuss national issues, that I should not receive it?
You can hardly change anything. I can't say you shouldn't receive it. That's why I gave an example. Do you understand? That's why I say, are there no primary secondary school principals around Abuja that require...
Mind we have top journalists that can spin the polity by just one statement. We have journalists like that. Top journalists, we know that.
I understand.
Are you saying that? Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I understand. But you know your intentions. You know your intentions.
Should I accept or not? That's what I'm saying. If I were to be...
No, I know you now. I know you. So for you, I can advise you to accept it because I know you.
Okay.
I know you. You can accept it. But there are people like, even among journalists, there are people that I cannot vouch for. So you understand. Once they are said, I know they are expected to do something.
Okay. Let's dive deeper now to this same issue. What impression does this hold for INEC as a body vis-a-vis public trust? What do you think? What do you think will be going on in the minds of
Nigerians
now, vis-a-vis,
because
do you think Nigerians will believe in the system?
No.
Come 2027? Do you think also that it's going to affect voter
apathy?
Yes.
Honestly speaking, because you see, first it will breed widespread skepticism, even about voter registration, about how results are being collated and how final results are being even announced.
Like because we saw the last time.
Yes, because
the result was announced.
Exactly, people will start it. This result have been tampered with too. You remember all those INEC officials? INEC gave them plot of land and swap. So, you understand? All this thing will be coming up. Will be involved in discussions going forward. And then even voters, they will lack the energy, the appeal to go out and vote, because those people have already been taken care of. Why will I go? Even if I vote for CK, at the end of the day, CK, even if he win, they will not give him. So it will weaken their energy to go out and vote. So it will affect voter turnout in a way. Do you understand? And even the political party in themselves, some of them will now become weak to go and campaign. They will say, the judiciary have been bought, INEC have been bought. Do you understand? Even among us, the opposition, even among us, there are what you call stooges. They are revealing a secret to the ruling party. Well, forget about this. It's already a done deal. So you understand? It will affect every manner of our political life.
But that's why we also argue that there are some voters that may also want to differ from this.
Of course.
Some voters will come out and say, oh, okay, probably perceive it as mere desperation. And they want to, come out and say, okay, let's see how this ends. We are not going to allow this to happen. We are going to ensure that we gather more support and more voters to vote against this set of people.
Of course,
for having done this kind of so.
I agree.
Don't you think that will happen?
Of course, that will happen too.
So you see
that a general thing. I'm just telling you what will likely occur among some people. Do you understand?
Some set of voters.
If, for example, I belong to the opposition party, and I know I have a strength of like 70 million Nigerians, and because of these registered members, and because of these voters apathy, instead of expecting all my 7 million voters to go and vote, I ended up having only 2 million. The aim is defeated. Do you understand? So it will affect, but there are still people that are actually up and doing. They will say, whatever it is, we'll have to fight till the last. So of course, I agree with that. I in fact, this is my expectation. I expect members of the opposition party not to be discouraged.
And their supporters too.
And their supporters too, not to be discouraged. When I say opposition, I mean the supporters and the party officials. But for ADC now, we don't even know whether they are officials for now, because up to now, no resolution has been reached, and even the court order is still undecided. But I think I see them either joining a new political party or forming a new one. I would prefer them actually joining a one that's already formed. But you know that joining one that's already formed is what led to this problem also. You remember? You can remember very well. When they moved in, they started to change the leadership of the ADC.
Yeah, of course.
So I think it's not too late to register new political parties, since they are not prohibited from doing so.
Okay, Mr. Ibrahim, let me also ask you, let's look at this briefly. Now, the electoral commissioners are those under the responsibilities to conduct elections at various
across
states. And now the allegation making the rounds that lands are allocated to them are here by the FCT minister. Now this is one that we have seen. Like some might also say that there are also other things we may not have seen, maybe at the state level, maybe governors also doing one or two things. What do you advise? Do you think, looking at this current development, that those commissioners should be changed completely now? Because this whole thing has, is one of them has come to,
expose everything.
Continue with these same commissioners. Do you see it as something that should fly, or they should all be,
in a sane democracy, they should
all be removed.
They shouldn't even wait to be removed. They should resign.
They should resign?
Yes.
Why?
That's why I said in a very, very sane environment.
Okay.
Because what they did is very, very wrong. And they have been found out. So I'm sorry for what I did. I was, it's devil. What do Nigerians always say is the work of the devil. Please, Nigerians, forgive me because of this.
The work of the devil.
I'm no longer worthy of remaining in this office. I hereby tendering my resignation. That's what they should have done. They should even wait for the government to send them out. But if INEC is to be trusted by the people, they should be fired.
They should be fired.
Exactly.
Sacked.
Sacked.
For accepting a gift?
For accepting it's not a gift. This is gratification. This gratification, please. There's a difference between a gift and gratification. I'm giving you something so that in the future you'll be grateful. You will be grateful to me. There's something I will need from you, so you pay back. Gratification, you should be grateful one time. You will pay back. But gift is something totally different. I am not expecting anything when I give you something.
Okay.
But gratification, I expect you to turn back the favor. You should be grateful that I did that to you at a certain time. The time has come now for payback. I will come back and say, Ojo, this is the time. You remember? Okay, and yes, I remember. No, I'm grateful now. I will pay back.
So you rub my back, I rub your back.
Rub your back. That's gratification. That's not gift. That's why I said if it is a gift, there are more deserving people. I respect college principals. Honestly speaking.
College principals.
They are the ones in need. We know that the salary of the teachers and principals is not anything to take home. So many of them are not living in homes of their own. Go run Abuja, have a list of the principals. Even if they not all of them, start doing it instrumentally. If there are 50 principals here, if you give 10, the next minister will have a record. You say, okay, during CK's time as a minister, he allocated so principal. Okay. 10 plots of land. Now, in my time as minister, let me also give another 10.
No, okay, now you're looking at, we've been dwelling so much on the electoral commissioners. What of the minister himself? Barrister?
That one a politician.
Yes, we can. You are talking about the same, in a same clan or in a same community that the other party should be sacked or
exactly,
yes, or should be changed. What of the giver?
Many times on this platform, I told you that no opportunity is very small for a politician to take advantage of. This is the tradition of politicians worldwide. They take advantage.
Yes, we can explain politics.
That is their nature. I'm telling you, that is their nature. It's up to you now to resist. That's why we say there's a local carnage in Nigeria, even though it has become global now, that politics is a dirty game. You understand?
Which I disagree.
Yeah, you may disagree.
I disagree. Politics is a dirty game.
I agree.
Some are saying that's playing politics allegedly.
Disagreement.
But I disagree that it's a dirty game. Because it's not politics in itself is a beautiful game.
He has a plan.
It's a science.
He has a plan. He has a
excuse me, Mr. Jabu. Politics in itself is a science.
Yes.
That's why it's called political science, where reasoning is being brought together, permutations and calculations are being done to do what? To achieve a common goal. But here, I want to believe that politics in this, can be dirtied, depending on who is playing it, not the politics in itself. It is the person playing the politics.
I've seen a friend. He had first class in mathematics. First class in mathematics. After he left school, he joined politics. I'm talking about 1999 when Obasanjo first came in. He contested under PDP to become a councillor in one of the wards in his local government. One day like that, they were invited to office on a Sunday. They were given bags of money. That was, I think, roughly about 6 to 7 months into his office time. He went and he asked them, "What this money is for?" What? They said, "No, this is your own share." For what? I've already received my salary and even my allowances. This is for what? They said, "No, this is your own share." It was at that point that he resigned. Wallahi. You have a lot of friends Muslim friends. If I go out, I will tell you his name. You will know that you know him. You know him because he became popular. He's a scholar now. He's an Islamic scholar. You know him.
Okay.
First class in mathematics. He said, no, this is not my game. I asked him, I said, why did you reject? He said, no, if I continue like that, but I have an ambition to become chairman and even one day to be playing politics at the state level. If at this small local councillorship level, I can be induced with this kind of thing, I wonder what I will be receiving by the time I spend 4 years here. I'm not entitled to this money. He stopped politics completely. Since then, he has not been a politician. You understand? So there are still good politicians, but the majority of politicians play it the rough way.
Okay, now let me looking at what you just said now. I want to also let me cite the case of Muhammad Haruna. What could be responsible for his decision? Why do you think he decided to come out to to speak out on a very sensitive issue like this at this very sensitive time?
First, discipline.
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 So others probably may not be disciplined.
Yes, of course. Then secondly, trustworthiness.
Trustworthiness.
He's a kind of person, I think he was brought up well.
Well, are you sure being brought up with these are the facts, or probably maybe he was threatened by one person quietly, or somebody tried to tell him, why did you take that, or whatever. Maybe one or two kingsmen would have spoken to him and say, okay, why should you accept this? Do you think it's a decision made by his own conviction, or he was swayed into doing that?
Even if his kinsmen advised him against it and he accepted, it still goes to show that he has discipline.
For accepting the advice?
For accepting a good advice. He still has heart in him to accept that this is good and I must.
So he could have as well said no.
What made you think that if this is the case, the others might, is he the only person that have kinsmen among the 29?
I don't want to argue with you in this one again, Mr. Buchaibu.
You must do. Stop saying that you don't align with me.
I will not align with you with this one.
See, you must not always align with
yes.
me. I'm here.
I want to see that. I want to see his decision as also political too.
It may be, but we have not seen that yet. Because
that is my own opinion.
What is
Muhammad Haruna? My also
clear here, land were allocated.
Yes, and he rejected and then came out to open up
any other thing.
I want to also see him as also playing politics as an in-house opposition person too.
It doesn't matter, but that was not clearly written now. What is clearly observable for us now is that lands had been allocated for INEC officers.
And it was not also clearly written why it was allocated.
Yeah? What?
It was also clearly stated. It could be gifts too.
Don't call it a gift.
I said, no,
it's gratification.
Gratification is also clear.
Let me tell you.
No, Mr. Mushaibu, you say gratification. I mentioned that Haruna Mohammed is also most probably allegedly playing politics too. And you try to, look at it. I'm also saying that giving lands to those commissioners might not be gratification too. It might be a gift. But you are looking at it based on the fact that it has to do with timing and because of the nature of the office they occupy. Yes.
The timing and the group of people to whom the land is allocated to, they were all working in the same place. They were given the land at the same time. And at a particular point in time. Why didn't they give this allocation 3 years back?
Well, I mean, they've not been inaugurated, or maybe.
I am doubting you. I know you are up to something.
I'm not up to anything. I'm only trying to.
I think she might have known you already.
No. I'm only saying
compromise
because we also had an allegation of Mr. Project, FCT Minister, building houses for judges. At some point, Nigerians have to name that street. What are Judges Street? And now here we are hearing allocation of land.
That's a very wonderful gratification as well.
Well, I want to believe judges before then, do they have houses? Those judges, do they have good houses to live? The job of a judge requires that the judge should have a very good resting place where he can also think.
So before they are
dish out sound judgment.
Sleeping on the street.
No, but you see, comfort is key when it comes to a judge. The life of a judge is a solitude lifestyle.
Why only the judge?
Well, others have not come out to say they've not been given. The doctors have not come out to say they've not been given.
The more I speak with you, the more I come to doubt your character.
It's not doubting my character here. I am trying to. I don't want to believe that everything that is going on is just because it is politics.
Believe me, it's politics. It's political.
Okay, it is also political that Mohammed Haruna objected to.
They are expected to behave in a certain way at a certain time.
There is also politics that Mohammed Haruna also came out to say, also make the confession too. If you say that is politics, everything is plain in line with politics.
I explain myself. Explain yourself why you think Mohammed Haruna is also playing politics.
Beautiful.
I've given 3 different reasons why it is not why it is politics. Now give me even 2 reasons why you think that.
Okay, let me give you one. Number 1 reasons why I think it is politics.
Yes.
Mohammed Haruna might be a friend to one of the opposition party stalwarts and political stalwarts.
Mm-hmm.
He might be a friend to one of them, allegedly, and probably being an insider in the hem of affairs that have to do with INEC.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he sees that an opportunity to further, expose and weaken the plans of whoever has any agenda. For example, if I am a pro Mr. Shaibu,
mm-hmm.
and then Mr. Shaibu is not the MD of this company,
mm-hmm.
and maybe there is room for you to become the general manager,
mm-hmm.
In contention with maybe Tom Aruko or somebody else,
mm-hmm.
I can, because of that, when you give me something, I will go and tell Tom, maybe I'm a pro Shaibu, sorry. If Tom gives me something, I can come and tell him, look at what Tom is giving me. Even though
so that I can strategize.
Yes, yes. So I can strategize. So even though I am supposed to be, I'm not supposed to have contact with any of you.
This is what he did. Even if this is what he did,
yes,
I think he acted in the right direction. Because majority of Nigerians wish to see a level flying field for the 2027 election.
I've not given you my second reason.
We don't want a situation whereby one party, I always keep saying this, we don't want to see a situation whereby one party will dominate everything in Nigeria, in Nigerian election. This will now give the election result to appear as incredible. Even international organizations, international partners will consider this election as unreliable and not credible election. And see, I tried to give an example of what had happened in Cameroon over the years. You see, this pattern we are trading capital slowly is the same pattern Paul Biya traded. And that allowed him to stay in power for almost 50 years now. And do you know one funny thing today? Paul Biya's son is the vice president and also the minister of defense in Cameroon. When the time for election, the election is 5 years. Every time election is around the corner, what you will do is that you will sponsor 3 or 4 different party individuals, sometimes standing, contesting individually.
To make the process look contestable.
Independently, and even sponsor a small political party.
Mm.
When this is allowed to happen, it's dangerous for our political life in Nigeria. We should always opt for multi-party democracy.
But I don't think it's going to happen here because
that is why we are talking. That's why we are creating awareness. That's why every slide, something we see that will always come out to talk about it. You understand? By the time you do like this, the power that we will consolidate in power and will make it very, very impossible for any other opposition party to even become impactful later in the future. Okay,
Mr. Shaibu, we have few minutes, and I would like to just ask you very simple. I also want us to discuss now, looking at all these whole happenings, is INEC truly independent?
Constitutionally, yes. Constitutionally, yes. Even the announcement suggests that independent, that's the idea now. National Electoral Commission. Constitutionally, they are supposed to be independent. But are they truly independent? That's the question. So the answer is that their independence exists, but it has been compromised to a certain degree. The fact that they can accept gratification from a serving minister shows that they are credible.
In a ruling party.
In a ruling party, working for the
at a given time.
At a given time.
So okay, I'm helping you to bring that.
Thank you for that.
I'm helping you to bring out your factors.
To bring out my factors.
Even though I will not agree totally with you.
The fact that they accept gratification at a certain time,
yes,
shows to the fact that their credibility, their independence had been compromised, and they can be able to do anything down to the tune of the powers that be. They can be manipulated.
And again, the issue of the public trust is the
public trust has weakened drastically, not only on INEC, even on the judiciary. All as a pointer to 2027 election coming up.
So going forward, what do you think we should do now? What do you think is the best way out of this whole thing?
Yes,
because,
that is number one.
You have made your point, like I said earlier on, and somehow, I mean, I don't agree with you totally, which is my own opinion.
Of course.
Fine. But if I want to find out from your own end, what do you think, as one who has also, dived into this topic very well, what do you think can be done, to straighten this whole,
Yes, there are things to be done. First, as Nigerians,
yes.
First, as media people, as journalists, we have to continue to create awareness. We have to show and expose what is going wrong and what is expected of us as journalists and Nigerians to do. For us journalists, we try to create awareness all the time. Expose certain illegalities. Expose something that are doubtful, particularly things that will tarnish our political transition. Then secondly, for the opposition party, they shouldn't allow such initiatives, such actions from government agency or from the ruling party to diminish their energy and vitality. They should understand whatever step is taken and try to counteract it. That shouldn't even dampen their followers, the spirit of their followers. Let them continue with their politicking. Let them continue to work against whatever stumbling block that's put across them. Let them not fold their hands and say, no, we are no longer even participating. Like some people are now saying, there are parties that are saying the elections have already been compromised because this has been done for this agency. Do you understand? Then as for Nigerians, let us know. If you are enjoying your life as a Nigerian, you know. If this administration is serving you well, you know. Do you understand? Just make sure you have your voter's card. If you have your way, go and revalidate it. Although they said that we have to revalidate it. But then again, we know that the time frame given for the revalidation is even inadequate. You can't revalidate 150 million registered voters in Nigeria in less than a year. Do you understand?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Shaibu Ibrahim. Let the discussion do what?
Continue.
Let it. All right, thank you very much. And once again, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Siki.
All right, that will be all for today on Politics and Business Television on the morning show. Please do join us on our social media handles and you can follow us there. And then we hope to meet you to discuss further tomorrow. Once again, thank you, viewers, for joining us. This is Politics and Business Television. My name is Kenneth Chidi. Bye for now.